Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo! I'm your host, Stephen White, and with me is Todd Stark.
Hello.
And John Taylor.
What's up?
We're here to talk to you about all the stuff in video games, and right now, E3 is the big thing. That's what's been happening this week. That's what's on everyone's mind. And eventually, we'll get into our own theme and everything to where we're doing our own segments, game news, and maybe reviews, things like that. But right now, E3 is the big thing. That's what we talked about last time. We were talking about the predictions, whatever we talked about. So maybe now we're going to look into how right we were, what we saw, and how excited we are about it. So, guys, let's start with Microsoft. They were the first ones on the scene, really, when it came to the big guys.
Yeah, they $4.99.
$4.99 for Scorpio.
It's the Xbox One X.
Is that the official name?
That's the official name.
Which I really don't. I kind of like Scorpio, you know.
That's
Scorpio is cool.
that's the chip, or the engine that the whole thing runs on. I guess the chip.
Xbox One X. You sound so redundant.
It's I don't get it.
One
I don't
Extreme.
And that's the
Extreme.
consensus with everybody. 90%. They don't like the name. What are you doing? You know.
But they've never been really good with names, have they? I mean, we did the 360, and then they went to one. So it was like, so what are you trying to do here? Because everyone kind of assumed at one point it was going to be the Xbox 720.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
that was a big one.
And then wait, what was the other one? There was a whole nother thing they thought it was going to be.
Well, I know when they turned around on their what was their business model that they had, and then they were like, oh no, we're not going to do that. They called it the Xbox 180.
Yeah. TV.
Yeah, the TV and
Sports.
Was it sports?
Yeah. They signed that thing with the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In all fairness, I play fantasy football. That was kind of cool. It didn't get used a lot. I can guarantee you that.
It's a lot like Nintendo TV. That never got used. That was the biggest waste of time and effort. Let's go over the spec.
The specs. I'm impressed with this console, honestly. But, a big but. They've got their big game that they showed. It's a multi-platform game, but it's supposed to be built directly for this console. And it comes out that it's, first off, they touted true 4K gaming. Okay, and not to piss on them or nothing like that, but the game comes out and it uses checkerboarding rendering, just like the PS4 Pro does.
Right.
They bombed and just blasted the PS4 Pro because it uses checkerboarding. It was going to do native 4K on the Scorpio when they were just talking about it,
Right.
And I'm fine with either one of them. That's fine. But that's like the pot calling the kettle black,
Yeah, you can't sit there and bash someone else for what they're doing when you're doing the exact same thing. And I mean, what really do they have that really makes their 4K stand apart?
I'll say this. They will probably have more, I guess, native 4K games probably. I mean, they got this thing's a beast. It's 6 teraflops, 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM, 326 gigabytes per second of memory. It's gonna be fast. Load times are gonna be real, cut down a lot, I guess.
So as Best Buy put it, the most powerful console in the world.
Yes, right now it is.
Because that sounds like I need to whip out my knee pads kind of marketing. But that's okay. I mean, if
They all do it.
If it's true, it's true.
Sony does it, but they don't talk about Xbox when they do it. Now, Xbox has talked tons of crap about Sony for doing it,
Right.
But I don't want to sit here and throw mud at them. They had 42 games at this conference, 22 exclusives. Not all of them are true exclusives. They're launch exclusives. I want to get that out of the way first.
Okay, let's go through the games that are coming out and see what we're excited for. First, what about Forza?
It looks awesome, but it's a racing game. I like them for a month, maybe. Not even that. Maybe a week. I'll play a racing game a lot, and then I'm just done with it.
Yeah, Forza is definitely better than, was it Gran Turismo's, Sony's?
I don't know, man.
No. I meant fun-wise.
Well, as far as a feel and play,
yeah.
It's more arcadey, where Gran Turismo is...
It's a real simulator.
Right, and that does kind of get on my nerves. Now, both of them visually, they're on equal footing there. Gran Turismo always look good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not big into racing games. I've got my, I'll play them every now and again when I'm in the mood, but it's not going to be a deal breaker for me. It's not going to be a seller for me, so no big deal. What about Deep Rock?
I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to that. It was kind of quick on there. It is exclusive, though, but I do believe that it's one of their launch exclusive. I could be wrong on that.
Right.
But it is some sort of timed exclusive or total exclusive to them. I'm not sure on the details on that game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Darwin Project.
I've heard negative about this, but like that was one of the games that really kind of caught my attention. It was like
What kind of negative exactly?
they showed a game that was almost just like it. The Battlegrounds, Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's been big on PC. Have you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like a last man standing kind of game,
Right.
right?
And I have seen that a lot here lately. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I have seen it around quite a bit.
That's what Darwin Project is. And it starts out, you see this guy, he's running, and it's kind of a cartoony / like cell shaded, I guess, kind of a look to it. But he's running, and all of a sudden he kills somebody, and it's like 2 players remaining.
Okay.
And then they did this real weird thing during the conference where they had like a shoutcaster come out and start doing the call. It got real weird from then on out, on that part. But they always have that weird moment in their conferences. All in all, I thought I would play that, and I believe that's a launch exclusive also. Okay. I think it's actually coming to other consoles also.
Black Desert.
Isn't that like on PC right now?
I have no idea. I'm not sure.
I think I could be wrong. That's actually coming to all the other ones too. But I think that's really geared towards Japanese, and I think that's one of the things they're trying to get them excited for.
Mm-hmm. The Last Night.
I think that was that 8-bit looking game. I thought it was going to be a Blade Runner game when I seen it. It looked like futuristic, and then the guy was asleep, and he got up, and it looked real 8-bit looking, kind of, sort of, and it looked really cool. I would play it. I believe it's coming to PS4 also. That's one of those timed exclusives.
Yeah, see, and it's a lot of these that I've listed as possible full exclusives. Right. They do seem to have that limited availability. So to say that, it gets kind of muddy,
They are never clear on that. Now Sony does.
If you're gonna sit there and tout that it's an exclusive, you better be damn sure, because a lot of the times, at least with Sony, you'll see,
right.
Even Nintendo, what their exclusives are. This will never go anywhere else. Xbox doesn't really have that. I don't feel that they really have that. A game outside of Halo, you can look at and for a fact this is never going anywhere else. It's staying right there because that's where it belongs.
And Gears of War is one of those too. And well, Forza, you could look at it and go, that could be Drive Club, that could be Forza. It looks the same, but that's not going anywhere either.
Right. What about the Artful Escape?
That, if I'm not mistaken, it looked kind of cool. It was, I think I'm getting it mixed up with another one, but I think it was the one where the dude was playing guitar, and he would strike the guitar, and he would jump. It would spring him up in there. It looked like an indie game. I would play it. Now,
if we get into one of the bigger ones I know that came through was State of Decay 2. Being a zombie game, we've got a lot of those. We've got a lot of them.
It's okay. I like zombie games.
I do. I mean, they're okay. I mean, I guess you could say that with a lot of open world games. You have that sandbox, and I'm a sucker for those. If you give me an open world and a sandbox I can play around in, I'll go nuts.
If it's done right.
If it's done right, yeah. I mean, there's a limit. I mean, I guess there haven't really been as many zombie games here lately. I think they've kind of tapered off a little bit.
Yeah.
But what does this one bring to the table that's not been done?
Well, I don't know exactly what's different from State of Decay 1. The only thing that I didn't like about the trailer, they made it look way more action, and they were just popping shells off at everybody, just shooting everybody, and that's not how you play that game,
right?
Because you have to conserve your ammo, unless that's one thing that's changed. They figured out the ammo thing. It's part 2. They got all kinds of ammo. It did look like maybe they showed in the trailer like a real like base building. Maybe that's the new thing.
Okay,
Probably more in depth.
Did you play the
I played a little bit.
Was there base building in it?
No. You ever play 7 Days to Die?
Was it like that?
Sort of.
Okay, well then maybe they just added to it. Because there was it showed a schoolhouse, and the dude was out there, and at first it was just his bed and his backpack.
Might be like a lot easier. Probably like more of instead of doing one thing at a time. So like a big line.
Right.
Like 6, 7 things.
Right.
You need probably less resources to do it that way. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know. At the end, it looked like he had a little bookshelf, and it was like a little laboratory kind of thing out there. Maybe he was, I don't know, he's making crack. I don't know.
Maybe.
Meth.
I mean, you never know.
You don't know. It's the apocalypse.
One that I actually looked into, and there were a few that I looked into with Microsoft that really kind of got me interested. Sea of Thieves. I heard a lot of people that I was watching it with, they kind of got excited about it. And what I liked about it is it had a very interesting art design.
Right.
That was very unique to that. The concept seemed really good because, if I'm not mistaken, it was a group of friends
Right.
out on the sea exploring like pirates.
Yeah, everybody's got a job.
And to a degree, I kind of felt like this is what No Man's Sky failed to do. Like they took what was lacking from that and said, we're going to take this idea of exploration. Granted, it's not space exploration, but sea exploration. But they got what was right or what was missing from No Man's Sky and made it right on this game. And I feel like it would be fun.
How much better would No Man's Sky been if you could just play with somebody?
If you had a group.
I would still be playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a group like this that you could just go and hang out with, a crew like Star Trek. Yes.
That'd be awesome.
A starship.
No Man's
Like
Sky
come out
2.
with a DLC later where you can do like a mega starship or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even been back to No Man's Sky since they've added a lot of the DLC, and
No.
perhaps it's good. What do they have now? They've got, you can build your own base, build your own ships. It might be good. I don't know, but it did not catch me. This catches me. This catches my eye based on what it could do.
It looks fun.
Yes.
That is what No Man's Sky failed to do, to be fun.
Right.
There was that sense of exploration, like this place is huge.
Yeah, and it seemed very interesting, but that's where this game seems like it's going to succeed. There's an open sea out there. We're going to find it. There's going to be so many things to do. Now, granted, I don't believe they may have said it. I don't know. I didn't hear anything official, but there might be a limit to how many islands and treasures you can find. I don't know, but maybe not.
I thought that game was supposed to be like a deathmatch game. I've watched it for a few, I guess ever since.
There is stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But if you're you can go off the boat and adventure.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I thought it was like strictly like team versus team.
I think there's probably that
That's
mode.
probably the mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there is another one that's kind of similar to it that came out that he might be thinking about, Skull and Bones.
Okay, see, I didn't see that one.
It was a second pirate game. That might be the one you're thinking of. I don't know.
There are two games that are exactly the same coming out at the same time.
It's all pirate.
That's how it happens,
It's all pirate.
Next is Vikings. People have been calling for Viking games, so that'll be next.
I think like if you're doing like a big exploration game, I think it has to be multiplayer. Has
Yeah,
to be.
absolutely.
Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it
No
makes
Man's
it
Sky?
more fun.
Yeah. No Man's Sky would have been 100
You
times
felt
better.
so lonely, and I understand the idea of loneliness, but at some point,
You're going to run into somebody.
somebody.
Damn.
I understand it's a big universe, but when you find somebody's planet, you should be near them somehow.
I'm not pumping my own gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a damn robot or something pumping my gas. I'm going to
Exactly,
talk to
yeah.
him, Wally. He'll pump my gas.
Well, we're getting off topic. We're ranting. What about Crackdown 3?
Dude, no.
No?
I think it's going to be... I'm calling it right now. Disappointment. I read an article today. You can beat that game in 3 hours.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Upon my first look on it, that was my initial reaction was meh.
Well, I'm going to give you 2 reasons right now. Just 2. I mean, just from watching the show and getting information from E3. Mm-hmm. It was building jumping, it looked like. Okay? Like, show me more in the thing. I didn't like the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay. There is no... What do you call it? Like when you destroy, there's no destruction. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
There's no destruction in single player, but there is in multiplayer.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Why not have it in both? Why can't
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
it in both?
That does seem kind of counterproductive.
And I think that's where the power of the cloud they talk about. They're going to use that cloud, I think, to do all that. It could be funner online. I don't know. I'm not excited for it. Plus, if you can finish a game in 3 hours, and I mean, granted, the article said, but why would you want to do it in 3 hours? Why would you make a game that's supposed to be big like that end in 3 hours?
It might be like Destiny. Maybe this.
Man, it took me longer than 3 hours to beat Destiny.
I'm just saying, man.
But
I'm saying.
I mean, just
but
like
no,
a main
I get
story.
what
you
you're
gotta
saying.
beat.
Now, there are times when a smaller game, indie games, they work better on a
I'm
small
not paying
scale
$60 for that game, though.
Exactly. When you're paying top dollar, The Order.
8 to 10 hours, I finished that game and platinumed it. That's worth $60. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. Now, if you're going for platinum, I went through the entire game, start to finish, probably in about 4 hours. But I did not platinum. I didn't go for that.
I platinumed it the first time through.
That could be worth it. But the overall production of that was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's kind of worth it.
Right.
I understand people's complaints though. 4 hours.
Right.
My money's just wasted because I'm done with this game and there's not really much else to do. But
seriously though, if you're taking your time and looking for some things, you're still spending 7 to 8 hours.
yeah.
How many people actually do that though?
And yeah, I'm a offender on that. Depending on what game it is, if I feel like I want to stay within that, if I want to continue exploring, I'll do it.
Right.
But this one kind of struck me odd, and maybe it did you guys too. Super Lucky's Tale.
God, I wrote WTF beside that.
I feel like this is Microsoft's attempt to have a quote-unquote Mario game, because Sony does have that. They have that with Little Big Planet. They have their family-friendly title.
Crash, you know.
Crash Bandicoot is definitely one they're bringing back that's a family-friendly title. Microsoft really doesn't have one that I can think of.
I mean, I guess you're right. They don't.
So maybe this is their attempt to get that. But I will say that my first instinct is I thought this was like Conker's Bad Fur Day, but
I thought it was
Conker-like.
Sega. I thought it was Sonic. I thought that was Tales from Sonic.
Kind of a blend of concepts.
Yeah.
But I love, I don't know if you watched the trailer or not, but this character is just so happy and lively all the time. It's like no matter what's going on around him, he seems oblivious to everything, and he's just happy. You know, he's just like, yeah, I'm just so excited. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely fine, but it's almost like they're trying to drive that point home. This is supposed to be a very positive, upbeat game, and that's what they're selling. So, hey, that's fine. It's absolutely fine if that's what they're shooting for.
I mean, this whole conference for Microsoft, it was just little games like that. Mm-hmm. Not like that. That game looked like it was a Sega game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It did not look next gen. I don't give a damn if you put 4K on that. It's not going to look that good.
There was a lot of familiarity to it. As if I've seen this game 100 times before, whether it be Mario, Banjo-Kazooie, Sonic, it doesn't matter. I've seen this concept, jumping around, little platformer, 3D platformer, collecting coins, whatever it is. It could be fun, don't get me wrong, but we've been there. We've seen it a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that to a point, but I don't know, you get kind of burnt out. The last one I had, as far as, I guess, listed exclusives, which I knew this was an exclusive, I would want to play this. I'm kind of jealous.
I wonder if it's the same one I'm thinking.
It's Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Yes.
That looked gorgeous.
That first game was great.
It blew me away when I looked at the video. I was like, man, I really want to play this. Now, would I go out and buy an Xbox for it?
No.
Probably not. But I feel like I am missing out on something that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
At the
I
moment.
agree. It's got that, it has this touch of like AAA finish on it, but it's got that indie feel.
Yes.
That's what I like about it. It's like almost like going to see your favorite performer in like this small theater. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. It looked fantastic, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, for them to bring that out, I thought that was a good idea.
And I would really hope, I mean, just for the sake of that game and just how it looked, whoever the developer is, I don't know.
I can't think right offhand.
I really hope that it actually does well. Hope it gets received well. It deserves that. I know PlayerUnknown Battleground. We were just talking about it a little while ago. You said it. I mean, it's been on PC.
Right.
We've seen that around. It's coming to Xbox One X, which still feels.
It don't feel right.
Well, anyway, how do you feel about that?
It looks fun.
I want to play it. It looked like SOCOM.
Yeah.
It reminded me of SOCOM, Team Deathmatch, you know? Mm-hmm. And SOCOM was awesome. If it looks like SOCOM, I'm in.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. Definitely buy it.
Now, of course, obviously, Microsoft has a big deal with Minecraft right now, where they're pushing it a lot. What would you say? I mean, they're kind of pushing that
crossplay.
Yeah, the crossplay, which it's a very good idea. It's very smart. I kind of feel like we need to kind of get into that a little later.
Yeah, that's another subject. Yeah.
But no, I like that idea.
I love the idea. I think there's I don't think every game needs to be like that.
No.
But there's other games like Rocket Play. That's another one. That
Rocket
game is really, really popular.
Yes.
And plus, Psyonix, the guys that made it, they love that game. They love it. It's like a baby. You know what I mean? And they just keep adding content.
Yeah,
to
they're
it.
still working on it.
Yeah,
They come out
It's
a
one of
year or
those
two
things.
ago?
They don't want to make a part 2 because they want to keep making this one good. Why make a part 2 when you can make this one better?
They don't need to.
And I'm all for that. You know what I mean? If you can play a game and it's different every time you go, there's something new when you go back, by all means, I will give you my money. You deserve it.
Yeah, I played it for like a month straight.
Right. I did too. And I couldn't even play. My internet sucked so bad, I couldn't even play against anybody. I just played one player for a month. It was great. It's fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least doing that's a smart move on their part, because you're opening doors, I feel like, especially when Nintendo's got it now, and I'm sure it's big on the Switch. It's probably big on the Wii U.
Is it out now?
I don't know if it's out yet.
I know we're still talking about Rocket League, right?
Rocket League is coming. I was talking about
Minecraft.
On
Yeah,
Minecraft.
okay.
But Rocket League is coming to Nintendo as well.
Right, it is. It's coming to
get into
Switch.
that. Again, the crossplay. That's such a great idea. I hope other people will get involved with it at some point. But the fact that Microsoft has opened that up and said, "Come on in, let's do that," it's a fantastic idea.
It is. I'm just wondering, like, Sony's the one against it right now, and they're
Right,
not
and-
really against it. They are. It seems more like there's a business thing there, and we don't know the details. And that's
Probably
like
so.
you
I mean,
said earlier.
there's always for every story like that, it's always business. I can't imagine them saying no just because they don't want to play nice with the other two companies, because that's bad business.
No, it's good. That crossplay is good for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If right now, if I had friends who have Friday the 13th on every other console but the one I play on, but we could do crossplay. Fantastic.
Dude, can you imagine how
I
quick
would-
games would fill up?
Absolutely. I would be in heaven right now because I could play with the friends I got. Project Vane was another one on Xbox.
They didn't really show a whole lot of that. It was kind of like a real quick thing. Project Vane 2018. I don't know.
So very.
Real vague. It didn't really show a whole lot.
See, why do they do that?
I don't know, but I know that one is coming also to PS4. I've seen that.
So you can Google it.
Yeah, you'll have to Google it, look it up. Go
You're
to the
gonna
website.
find that out because we don't know what it is.
ProjectVane.com.
It's cheaper that way. It's a lot cheaper.
Tacoma was another one.
Tacoma, dude. I love horror games. This is just gonna be a horror game.
And I don't feel like there's a proper horror game, or at least not enough. No. Because there are good horror games, but they've been kind of what you said with State of Decay. They're adding action to it. True horror. What Resident Evil 7 did, went back to horror. They brought it back to where its roots. That's what needs to happen.
Dude, I shit myself 7 times playing Resident Evil. If I was doing it in VR, I don't know what I'd have done.
In VR, you'd be throwing up because the motion sickness would get you. I'll attest to that. And the last one I had on Microsoft was Anthem. That was one that looked pretty interesting.
I'm touching myself. I mean, that game looks outstanding.
Yes.
I mean, it looks like Destiny and
I don't even know what to compare it to.
Mass Effect. It looks
Maybe.
like that.
I don't even know if I
If
like
this game does what BioWare wants to do, then look out, dude, because that's game of the year.
I hope it's
gonna
like
be game of
I
the
hope
year.
it's like multiplayer like Destiny.
It is.
No, I know that, but I hope it's like that type of multiplayer where it's like a team of 4, 5, no more. But it's an open world, like really open world.
This one, that's what it looked like. It said that you could encounter numerous monsters
Yeah.
everywhere.
I mean, it showed in the trailer.
yeah.
I love the cheesy voice.
They could have done without that shit.
God.
Yeah, but going back to the 4 players, like you said, I seen whenever the 2 other players dropped in, it said squad assembled. So that lets me think, hey, it's gonna be 4 players. I don't like a big squad either.
No.
I like 4 players, 5 at the most. That's great. But to me, that saved their conference. That and Ori, well, that was another slick thing they did. They didn't announce the price of the Xbox One X. They roll in there and they're getting ready to walk off stage and they go, coming November 7th at $4.99, and then it just rolled out, like lift us there with our dick in our hand, wondering like what happened.
Because that's a pretty hefty price tag, especially right now. I mean, if you had an option between that and a PlayStation 4 Pro,
I'm buying the Pro, dude.
it's $100 cheaper.
Right. There was one more thing I want to bring up before we move on to another conference. They spent 5 minutes talking about backwards compatibility for the original Xbox. Boo. I don't care about that.
Who cares?
But
Nobody's
what
playing
kind
that
of-
anymore.
What kind of backward compatibility? Are they talking about Virtual Console, or are they talking about
I think you can
actually,
put the disc in, maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
Who's still got an Xbox original disc?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I've never once, except once, used my backwards compatibility for my original PS3. I played God of War 2, and that's because I got it at the same time it came out.
I'll honestly say that I think Nintendo had it right when it came down to backward compatibility through Virtual Console. Right. Simply because if I want to play that game again, I will go back and actually buy it, or I'll want to revisit it on my own terms. Right. If I have the game, like you said, you're probably not going to go back to it. If I've got it sitting on my shelf, I know I had numerous GameCube games, Wii games, that as I moved on, I never touched. That's why I eventually sold them, because I knew I was never going to play them again. It just got to that point where I want this game. I would love to revisit it at some point, but I just don't have the time. I don't have. If I was playing video games all day, maybe I'd get around to it at some point. But it's just not happening in my lifetime right now. So they got to go.
Yeah.
So you got to give me a reason to do it.
That's
You know?
how I feel about it.
And right now, it's there is a positive to it at some point.
It's a whole nother topic other than E3.
Yeah.
The problem with Microsoft, the only problem that I have, exclusives. They don't have those games, and plus all of them are going to PC, like I said.
Yeah.
But all in all, if I'm grading Microsoft's conference, I give them a B. I mean, hardware takes the day every time. I give them I give them a B plus. Anthem and Ori. What would you give them?
Just based on what I saw, I mean, there was nothing really that kind of caught my attention. A few games here, I'd have to give them a C.
Yeah, I mean, I just went on presentation wise. They rolled through. They talked a little too much at the beginning, but they rolled through and just showed us games, and that's what they kind of did last year. I'm glad that's becoming the format, but that's why I would go with a B plus. They didn't really screw up, but you know, what about you?
C plus, just right there in the middle.
Average. I mean,
The one that hates Microsoft the
As
most
long
gives
as
them
you,
the
long as
highest
you get
grade.
as long as you keep the ball rolling, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It might start out slow, but just get it going.
I just want to say also, E3 is like my second Christmas.
It is fun.
Dude, I love this week.
We're gonna go.
I want to go,
We're
yeah,
gonna go.
yeah. That's why we need people to subscribe and listen to and we can
That's
get
right.
tickets.
So we can go.
We
Come
can
on.
go, damn it.
People
Send
alive.
us to E3.
All right, so let's move on to PlayStation. First thing I want to bring up was what I feel like was one of their crowning moments. Spider-Man. They showed a lot of that. It's been highly anticipated.
You're going to jump to Spider-Man?
I'm going to jump to Spider-Man because I am psyched about Spider-Man for starters. Let's just...
Wait. I want to stop just a second. You can talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But how are you going to talk about Spider-Man when I literally saw you shit the bed when they showed Shadow of the Colossus?
I understand that.
the bridge!
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't
pointing, dude.
ruin a good thing. We'll get there eventually. But no, Spider-Man. I mean, from what you saw, what do you feel? Do you feel like they're going to nail this? Do you feel like Insomniac has got this down?
Yeah, I believe they've learned when they did Sunset Overdrive that the way that you got around the world, it's like a lot like Spider-Man, a lot of like grinding on the rails, and stuff. It's really going to work in this game, and what they learned there, is going to work in this game. I learned today that game is Spider-Man is 4 to 6 times bigger than Sunset Overdrive. And that world they created in that game was alive. It was great. So I'm really excited. I think they're going to nail it. Just the way that whole fight scene went down. It was fluid. And the way he moves around, that parkour, the flips, the way he went through that building, that's the game. It looks like that. It feels like that. That's what everybody that's played it has said.
And I noticed there were a few reports that they were trying to compare the combat system to Arkham. And I'll be honest with you, the Arkham games, they created a combat system that really works for superhero games. Even if they're not really mimicking it, but they're taking cues from it. And I feel like that works for Spider-Man. He's so fluid. He's so quick. It works so much better for him than it does Batman, if you ask me.
But it worked great for Batman.
It did.
Because there was a weightedness to Batman when he moved around like that. It was
Right.
like, it wasn't like he was fast like Spider-Man, sorry. But he could still do those things.
Yeah, and even Spider-Man, he seems like there's a whole new element to that combat where he's flipping around, going around, and even the environment combat. I really want a game where you can look around and interact with anything that's in your general vicinity and actually use for combat, like this seems to give the impression of.
Yeah. He used the girder. There was the hook hanging. He hit that was hanging off that crane. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of things they did right with that. It looks in that thing.
And another thing that I'm really excited about, being a Spider-Man fan and all, I guess I've got a lot to be excited about. I don't know what the story is, but from what I've read, you may have read it as well. They said he's an experienced superhero at this point. He's about 23. There's actually a reason for the White Spider, which I've contested before, which I was like, I don't hate. I think I said this in the last episode. I don't hate, but it just seems off.
What was the reason?
They have not said, but they said there is a reason for it in the game. So I'm curious to see what that is. Plus, a lot of the characters that we saw, that was another thing that excited me, is because we're using villains we don't really know. Since you guys, I don't feel like you're not really conversed into comics or anything like that. I mean, you don't read comics all that much.
I read Walking Dead. Read every one of them.
Did you know who the villain was that he was fighting?
Was that Mr. Negative?
Mr. Negative. He's a very current villain, right. And even the person he was talking to on the phone, her name is Detective Yuri Watanabe, and she's actually a superhero of her own right called the Wraith, which a lot of people won't know because we're used to the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus and whomever else you want to throw into the mix. So the fact that they're using lesser-known villains, I think is cool. I think it's a great opportunity to help this separate itself, to distance itself from other games, because it's not the same recycled stuff over, again and again. We're actually using villains who are established in the Spider-Man universe, but just not well known. This game could actually give them a little bit of notoriety, so people who will actually know them.
They said they was going to shake the formula up,
which is great. And we also got to talk about the little end credit scene. Hypothetically, Miles Morales.
He is. He's going to be playable in this game,
which I want. We need Miles Morales. I love Peter Parker, but I love Miles Morales as much because he's established himself in the comic universe as a competent Spider-Man. He's a good Spider-Man. He's a unique Spider-Man. He's not just Peter Parker but black. Right. He's his own character.
Wasn't he any Hispanic?
He's part black, part Hispanic. But no, he's established himself. He's established himself firmly as a great character in the Marvel Universe right now. And to actually see him as a playable character, I kind of feel like it would have been a disservice if they didn't make him a playable character, because he is so ingrained now as that character. And if there are people out there who are listening and they know who this character is and they don't like him, you can go to hell, because Miles Morales is awesome. I'm just going to say that for the record. And throw me all the heat you want. I don't care. Miles is awesome, and he is a proper successor to Peter Parker. So that's what I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm. You feel better?
I do, because I've seen a lot of hate, and it's ridiculous. It's very negative, but we won't get into it right now because that gets into a whole nother debate. Uncharted: Lost Legacy.
Yeah, not to spend a whole lot of time on that. It was downloadable content planned at first. Now it's going to be its own game. I think $30. I think it's going to be 6 to 8 hours long.
It's fun. Yeah, I'd pay that.
I'm ready to play as Chloe.
It's an Uncharted game. I'll throw you all my money. I'll give you everything that I got.
That's Naughty Dog.
Yeah, they've yet to
disappoint.
Us down.
Yeah, they have not disappointed at all.
And granted, that's our personal opinion. You may feel differently.
Right.
But I feel like they've done a lot of good here lately. So, especially with Uncharted. You give me an Uncharted title, I don't give a shit who's involved, Chloe or whatever. You want to make more? Go ahead. I'll spend the money on it. That's a great franchise.
I've never been disappointed.
Got a good story.
Never been disappointed.
Never.
John is always right about that.
Yeah. I guess before we get into other games, let's touch on the DLC for Horizon. They really didn't explain a lot about what it's going to be, but it was just a good trailer. I mean, it kind of got you hyped.
They said that the world is going to be transformed somehow or another through this. It looked like a volcano erupted. Yeah. I don't know, and it froze everything. I don't know. It looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, more Horizon. I'll throw money at it. It's $15. If anyone's listening right now, $15 if you're a PlayStation Plus member. I know it's not a sponsor. Get off our backs. I'm just saying, $15 to $20 depending on who you are. But yeah, it's worth it. I feel like it's going to be worth it because Horizon was a fantastic game. So go out and get that if you could, if you want to. I'm not trying to pressure you. Go to hell. All right. Days Gone, that's a big point of contention, and we've heard before we got here, John has a concern.
What is your concern about this awesome game?
Before we get into that, let's explain. Now, from where we stand, it looks like a pretty awesome zombie game.
Take my money now.
It seems like it has a great idea. It actually has an idea that we came up with, did we not? We talked about zombie hordes at some point, making a game about that. Because you don't see that. You see the one zombie crawling at you and you got to kill it. It's Resident Evil style or whatever it may be. But never been a zombie horde. This game seems to have taken that and then put like that 28 days later spin on it.
Right. World War Z type
Or that,
zombies
yeah.
just stacking on top of each other. It looks great, and it works. It looks like it works.
It genuinely seems like it would put you in a corner where it would terrify you, because if you're, put yourself into a trapped corner, you're screwed. And, they showed that last year. I really don't feel like they showed that this year as far as that intensity, but they showed more story. They
showed the strategy that you can use.
Right. Exactly.
And that the animals are infected also.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's interesting. But John mentioned that he's got a concern.
Voice your concern.
I didn't say anything about it. It was
You
going to be a
did,
terrible
and then you
game.
would
I didn't
not
say
tell me
anything.
through
I
a
just said I'm up in the air about it, because I remember last year, like you said, the first trailer came out.
What was your
It was
concern
like
with that?
there was 1,000 zombies on screen at least,
Right.
running at you, running over each other, just everything like that.
That was running on a PS4 Pro last year, by the way.
I got that. But okay, then
just trying to put your
then
concerns
this
to
one
bed.
came out. There may have been 50 zombies total, maybe
I mean,
on
it's
screen.
not going to be a zombie rave every time.
Well, I'm saying if you're going to pump a game out like that and make it, this awesome game, I think you need to put all the zombies
Did you
on
see
screen.
when he looked over top of the cliff there?
That
was a whole group of them.
No, that could have been just a little nothing.
No, they came up and got the guys up there
I don't
because
count- I don't
of
count that.
the wailing that the guy was doing from I'm not going to get into this. I don't
count that.
No, go ahead.
No, I
We're
will
gonna
knock
get
the
into a debate
mic off
about
the
this.
table. I
It's
will
great.
black bush you in a minute.
I don't count that. The far off things don't count, because that could be anything.
They weren't far off. They were right there. If you
They
jumped-
were
if you-
far off.
They were not
It was far off enough.
No,
Far off enough.
they were not
Which
far
one
off.
are you talking about? When they were running on the bridge?
Yeah, they were right there. If you-
Down there, like on
they
the
were
ground.
not down there. They were right there.
like
Where he
Bullet
was
Cliff?
just a second ago. He came from that way.
It came from the little people, the group of.
Yeah, he went
camp.
up and he caught that dude in the bear trap. That guy
Yeah,
yelled.
Yeah.
That's who they were gonna go eat.
Yeah.
Their asses was eat.
You talking about all the zombies that were coming on the bridge?
Yeah.
I don't count that. That was a
Their
far off shot.
asses
That was a
eat
far
up
off shot
there.
that don't count.
If you would have stood right there, if you would have stayed
Anyways,
in that spot,
that was one of the things. It's like last year it was
Google
1,000
it.
zombies.
Google it.
I will Google it here in a minute. And then this time it might have been 50, including the people at the little camp that was beating up his buddy.
Yeah. So
So if you're gonna say, and
Are
that's
you
what
scared?
that's what got me last year was like, oh man, look at all these zombies, thousands of them running at you, running over each other. This is gonna be insane. This time it was just like,
it can't always be like that.
well, if you want to sell me, you need to be. Like
It needs to
that.
be 75,000 zombies on screen all the time.
That's what got me, because it was all the zombies, like thousands.
Now, I
of them.
will give him credit. That is fair, because don't sit there and show that, and then when the game comes out, it's half that.
Yes,
because
that's what I'm
BS.
getting at.
I believe that will happen.
And then
That was part of the game.
yeah, and then what scared
You
me on
blow
it-
up some shit and they gonna come.
well, I'm like, I got like a No Man's Sky feeling from it.
No, don't.
No,
ever,
not
don't
not like
ever.
that, not like that. I'm talking about, they're hyping you up. This is gonna be awesome. It's cool. Then you get it, and it's awesome and cool for a day. Then the second day, you're like, okay. Third day, okay. this is
moving
not as good
on,
as I
because I'm going to just bitch smack John in a minute. I told you
I'm not
about the
saying
Black
it's a
Bush.
terrible game. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying
I'm
is
kinda
John's
skeptical
opinion
already.
does not
'Cause they've
count.
already- I'm
Hey,
just saying.
he's fair to be skeptical, because you never know what might change.
Oh
But
my
it
God,
could.
no. It got game of the show this year.
No, don't get me wrong.
Well,
I'm excited.
there's
I'm excited.
85,000 of
I'm
those
with you.
awards given away.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
But I'm with you. I'm excited. But he has a right to his opinion.
No, he don't.
I'm just
Like a
saying.
Trump
Not
supporter.
about this. He is a Trump supporter.
Shut up.
So we're fine.
You don't want nobody to know. Don't say that.
No, fine. No, we're not getting into politics. This is a game, goddammit.
Okay.
God of War.
God
Let's
of
get into
War.
God
I
of
found
War.
so much stuff about this game last night. I got, just like the Spider-Man game, I started getting this like little excited feeling in my tongue. I thought I was pregnant. But this game is you're going to see a whole different side of Kratos.
I'm a huge God of War fan.
I
Loved it since day one.
Thank you.
Since day one.
I was worried when they changed the format, but like
Yeah.
you're going
They
to
gotta-
see this Kratos that
It's gonna be weird.
yeah, well behind
weird.
no it's not. It's
No,
not,
no, I mean,
no,
it's gonna be weird for me
this is
because-
not Dave Gone all over again.
I'm just saying it's gonna be weird because when we last left him off in, what was it,
Yeah.
number 2? Was that the one
three.
where he like?
3.
No, I'm saying when he killed the world. Was it 3?
That was 3.
Okay, yeah, he killed the world in 3.
Right. He killed all the gods and
No, he killed everything.
he
It's
killed-
like,
well,
he
he
did a Moses. No,
He
Noah.
flooded
He did a
everything.
Noah. All right.
Yeah, he pulled a Noah, I guess, but he didn't build a boat. He killed himself.
You're right, he jumped
He
off.
sacrificed himself,
Fuck a
kind of,
boat, he can
sort of,
swim.
and released hope onto the people. So there were still people somewhere. Hope was what came out of Pandora's box.
Bullshit. I didn't see no
Right.
people.
They was swimming.
No.
was swimming.
I seen them
Anyway.
go disappear in the mountains
Man,
when the water came up.
How you gonna say you
All
didn't
right,
see
all
no
right.
people,
Moving on,
right?
moving on, okay.
There was a lot of people somewhere. You just seen this much of the screen and gonna say there wasn't no people.
wasn't no
Anyway, this takes place after that, and this story is not about his past as much as it is his future. And
Now, have they mentioned if they're going to touch on his past? Even
They
just,
are.
Even just a little.
in the trailer, did you see?
Yeah, you
they
see
had
the little bag or whatever it was.
What a bag, but they also had that urn that had him.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah.
Which lets
But he
me
still
know,
had
and
the
they know
swords.
who he is.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
They said, did you notice that one lady said, the gods know who you are, and if they find out where you are, they're going to make it hard for you.
Okay, so based on that, we're assuming that Kratos is in hiding.
Yes,
But from who?
From-
Because if he's killed the Greek gods,
Well, these are the Viking gods, or
Norse
the
gods.
Norse, yeah, Norse gods.
so he's up against Odin
Yeah.
and Thor,
You could possibly see Kratos versus Thor.
which would be awesome.
That could be because they did
touching
Kratos
myself.
versus Hercules.
But no, I mean, like, and everybody, okay, you see his kid in there. This is, okay, everybody's wondering, is it really his kid? It is his kid. It's,
To the lady.
well, the mother's dead, and the way they start this off is it's later in the story, in the timeline. And they want everybody to be confused because if you're a newcomer, you're going to be just as confused as somebody that's a veteran to the series, like you, John. You know, you like the thing. I love it. You've played all of them. You're going to be just as confused as this person is. And they said they pulled kind of like a Buffy kind of deal, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know, where a person gets introduced and everybody's like, where the hell did that guy come from? And then they kind of go back and tell how he met him, you know,
Okay.
and why he's in the story and how important he is. They're going to do that. There's also with his son, he sees his weaknesses in him, which is his rage. Not that he doesn't want him to have rage, but he wants him to be able to control it. And it's not an escort mission. There's not one time in the game will he be in danger. But saying that, there is a button that you can push. He will assist you in battle.
Nice.
Okay? And if you use him like that, you will put him in harm's way. So if he's in harm's way, it's because you put him there.
Okay.
And which I think that's an awesome kind of deal. They have a skill tree to, you can bring his skills along,
like
upgrade
those.
Kratos' weapons. I guess they've got a little more RPG in that part. You know, it's not just all these souls filling up. You know, but you also have a skill tree for the son.
Nice.
So, and Corey Balrog, the guy, I guess he's the creator of this game. You know, he's head over it. He said they used a lot of the Neverending Story to influence, or I guess it was influenced the land that that they're at. Whereas you'll see a monster, and he's not necessarily a bad guy. He could help you, but he could eat you too. I don't know. There could be some that would try to eat you, but for the most part, it could go both ways. Well, I guess we kind of seen a glimpse of that when that big serpent monster came up, and he's like, he wants to help us. So
At
thought
that
that was
point, I want to
interesting.
see Falcor, if that's what they're telling me.
I mean, he could have.
He could have been Falcor. Who
Yeah,
knows?
he could
Except
have
not a
been.
dog and
Who
snake.
knows?
But he's got to have the dog face. He's got to look, like he's happy. Now we get to where we were talking about, where I got excited. Shadow of the Colossus. We're going to touch on that real quick. I did get excited because I
did.
knew that landscape. I knew.
I thought it was Kingdom Hearts. I just seen the big sword, and I looked down and looked up and seen the big sword, and it looked like the key sword.
I'm gonna admit I have played Shadow of the Colossus. I've never said it, but the more I've thought about it, I was like, this is probably my favorite game ever because I've realized how many times I have played it. I've played it so many times on the PS2. I've played it so many times on the PS3, and I'm going to play it so many times on the PS4 that it's ridiculous because I'll play it again and again and again because it's such a good game. And this came out of nowhere. We never heard any rumors about this, at least none that I saw. And then they just slapped it down. It's like, there you go. And it was mind-boggling. And to see the visuals in such a beautiful way. They look so fantastic. And what I've heard now, they don't want to call it a remake, even though it technically is. Blue Point, I believe they're doing it. And Blue Point, they're known for that.
They're going to get it
do.
out when they say they're going to get it out, so
Yeah.
it won't be pushed back.
So they're doing it. I'm fine with that. They do a great job when it comes down to this stuff. I'm just excited. It looks fantastic. I cannot wait to see what they do with it. They didn't even show some of the best parts of the game, and that's fine because I want to experience it when it comes out. I'm so excited for this game. Again, I don't know what you guys.
I'm ready. It looks beautiful. You literally.
I did.
Your wife squealed. She said, "Ee!" just like that.
But I will promise you, I guarantee she didn't know what it was because she just knew it the moment I said it because I knew I've seen that bridge.
The bridge. That's
The bridge.
what she said.
Because it goes from the world apart all the way to the castle.
Here's my question. Is that tower, is that the one from The Last Guardian?
It could be. Now, there have been those subtle hints and ties to Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and to The Last Guardian, but to what degree, I don't know. Because from things that I've read, Shadow of the Colossus would technically be a prequel to Eco, which came out first, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know. So we'll see. But I can't wait for that. That's great. While we're on the subject of big monster games, Monster Hunter World. Now, we talked about the rumor that was going to come out, that this is going to be a PS4 exclusive. I'm excited about Monster Hunter World.
Never played it.
Now, I'll tell you, the
of it.
beauty of Monster Hunter, and I'm so glad that it's coming to PS4 because I can play with you guys.
Not
and
me.
I'm going to sell it to you. I'm going to sell it to you right now. I'm going to sell it to everybody listening right now. Monster Hunter is you are a guy who is a hunter, and you're going to go out and hunt monsters. It's very simple. However, this is not one of those games where you just level up your experience and you go out and I'm level of 100, I'm going to kill a monster. You have to be prepared for the hunt, much like a hunter would have to be. You need to know what you're going up against. You need to be prepared, whether it be armor, your weapons, whatever, traps. You have to be prepared to go after that monster if you're going to do it. The very first time I got exposed to Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter 3 on the Wii, and then they ported it to the Wii U, which is Monster Hunter Ultimate, and then I think Part 4 came out, but I think that only stayed on 3DS.
I have no clue.
Well, I'm a Nintendo fanatic, so I'll enlighten you all. Now, in saying that, I feel like this is a game that's been held back by the platform that it's on. It needs to be on a much bigger platform like a PlayStation, Xbox, even Nintendo's Wii U when they did that, or the Switch even now. It doesn't need to be on a handheld system. It needs to be on something, and I get why they did the handheld because it allowed the ability to group up with friends. But again, PlayStation, Xbox, they were already taking control of multiplayer. They could have handled it. So why are you limiting yourself to a handheld platform for multiplayer when you've got it everywhere else? It never made sense to me, and I'm so glad that it is finally coming to a platform that can take it, that can handle it, and really do something with it. Because from what I've read, I read this today, it's going to be open world. Now, you've never played Monster Hunter. They used to do, you'd have a map where it was like 10 sections. So you would see your map, and there would be section 1 through 10. Every section you'd go to, say if you were getting into trouble with your monster, you could run into another section, and you kind of get a chance to catch your breath. You don't get to do that anymore. It's all now one open setting. It's all one open world. So when you're there fighting that monster and you need to run, you're going to have to run. You're going to have to get moving. But they have compensated for that in other ways where you don't have to stall yourself, or like if you need to sharpen your blade, which is one of the things you have to do, your blade can get dulled over time. It's not going to slow you down. Healing yourself is not going to slow you down. So they've compensated for that idea, for that concept, which is fine. But no, I'm excited about it. I'm ready. Would love to get you guys excited for it because it's going to be a fantastic game.
Was awesome.
Yeah, and where you saw the flare go up in the air, you're calling in friends. That's what they said it's going to be. So if you guys are out hunting and you see me struggling, if you guys are struggling, I'm going to come in like a boss and I'm going to help you out because I fought the best.
I'm gonna watch for a minute.
He just got gangster about.
I did because I played Monster Hunter so bad. The last game that I played, I think, was Monster Hunter 4 on 3DS, and one of the biggest monsters on there was called the Devil Ho, and he's just the worst of the worst monsters. When you see them coming, everybody scatters. And I took that beast down.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
I love my favorite part was when he was getting the samples of everything. He had the little.
John is an idiot.
That's my favorite part, man. I love
I
that.
believe it's in there, but that was
actually
his favorite thing.
That
That was my
actually used to
favorite
be in the old games. That used to be a time
Man, he
waster.
put everything in
that used
there.
to be one of those things that you'd have to stop everything you're doing and do. So now they say you can gather stuff on the fly. So as you saw him kind of grabbing stuff as he's kind of sneaking up on the monster, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
he started off with like getting the sample off the leaf, and he like cut up something, he put it in there, and then he like got to a dinosaur that got killed, and he's over there chopping up meat. He's like,
Yeah, that's cool.
I was
It's like
disappointed.
hell yeah, it's a genie lamp.
I was disappointed they didn't do where he was cooking the meat. There's a song that usually goes with it, and they didn't play it. I was a little disappointed about that, but you'd have to hear it. All right, moving on. Knack 2. Knack 2 was a game that they premiered. They didn't actually show it during the E3, but they showed it, I guess, pre-E3 show.
Yeah.
Knack was fun to a point, but it was. I think we discussed this last time. It was freaking difficult, man.
It was, and that's a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But the thing that I've heard about Knack 2, because they just had it playing behind closed doors, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had it on the floor or not. That it is the real deal. This one is the real deal. It's fun. A lot of good things. The combat system's way better.
That's great. That's great. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with it before, but there was a bit of lag to it, I guess.
There's just one or two attacks you could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't a whole lot, but this time they've kind of fleshed that out. It seems like.
Sounds like my type of fighting game.
Yeah.
2 buttons, not 30.
They said there's this body at he would jump up and just like body splash and hit, and that would I guess affect a few people in the area. It's kind of cool. Really not a lot out about
really
that.
elaborated on the co-op system that they're going to do? Because you saw in the trailer it was like a red Knack and a blue Knack. I mean, what have they really said about it? Is that going to be couch co-op? Is it going to be
It can be
multiplayer?
couch co-op or online. I think you can do both, and
Nice.
I believe it's for the whole game. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They're really not a whole. I didn't hear a whole lot about the game. I think they, but like I said, it's coming out real soon. I think it might be out this year. I think
That'd be
I'm
awesome.
I'm not sure.
And again, I don't want to knock it because I was complaining that it was kind of difficult, but I never stopped playing it. I wasn't like, no, I'm not going to play this anymore because it's so hard. Because I played those games. Bloodborne is one of those games where I just said, I can't do it anymore because it's so frustratingly hard. But Knack was one of those that was hard, but hard enough to where I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it. I know I can do it. I'll get there. So I would push on. I would continue. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, another thing that they were kind of throwing out, PlayStation, is they had they did their PlayLink, Hidden Agenda, and This Is You. That kind of seemed like good interactivity
I thought so
type
too.
games. They even brought back Everybody's Golf, which I know is one of their earliest franchises, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I think wasn't that Hot Shots Golf? And then
I
this is
believe
Everybody's
so,
Golf, or is
at
it
some
because they
point.
called Everybody's Golf?
Yeah, and it's known as that now. It's what's popular, I guess, to the layman's. But it was kind of interesting that they brought that back, and they really seem to be pushing it a lot too. Another great game that I'm so looking forward to. I believe this is a PlayStation exclusive. If I'm wrong, then people can correct me. But Detroit Become
Yes.
Human.
I've heard really good things about that game. It's more Heavy Rain than it is Beyond.
And I had a conversation with someone about that where they said that they preferred Heavy Rain over Beyond. Now
Yeah.
I liked Beyond. I really did too. I thought it was fantastic, and I don't hate Heavy Rain either. I really can't compare them because they are two totally
They're
different games.
way different.
So to say which I like better, I don't really know, because there was something good about Beyond and what they were doing there as far as storytelling and interactivity, but Heavy Rain really kind of was an interactive story.
The mystery to that game.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And Beyond, they kind of had that, but not really.
Right.
It was more like, all right, where are we going with this?
It was supernatural. That whole
Yeah.
supernatural feel was.
So you really didn't have a mystery of what is going on. With Heavy Rain, it was more like, where's this kid? Something's happened to this kid. Where's this kid?
Right.
So you knew it was like a murder mystery versus something supernatural, which it lends itself differently. This is more sci-fi,
Yeah.
but I don't really know to what degree. I don't know where it's going. So I'm hoping if they say it's more heavy rain, then fine.
More heavy rain. The one thing that got thrown up to me was the way they find clues was a lot like the Batman. You can rewind a crime scene.
Yeah.
And the more stuff you find, the better your probability of, having success in your mission or what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And they really said, truly, it forks off a lot of different ways.
Nice.
So it's
Looks
a lot of
super
good stuff.
boring.
No, man, you're crazy.
Super boring.
Did you ever play Beyond or
I played a Heavy Rain.
Did
I did
you
play
like
it.
it?
It
Or were
was,
you
it was
kinda-
okay. It was just one of those games I wasn't. When I bought it, I had zero idea what it was.
Yeah.
Zero. I just picked up a game, looked cool, put it in. I beat it. I beat it 2 or 3 times trying to get the different endings or whatever, and
Yeah.
I just at the end of it I was like, it wasn't that great.
You're crazy. What was the game? What was the
But
kid's
I
name
did
at
play
the
it 2 or
beginning?
3 times though. I did play it 2 or 3 times.
Michael. No, what was it?
Well, no, his one kid's name was Sean,
Sean. Yeah.
but there was the other one.
Ethan? No. Ethan?
no, Ethan.
No,
Was,
his name was Ethan. Oh man, what is that going to be?
oh, dude, the way he said it.
Jason.
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 Oh, yeah.
my God! I remember laughing at that.
Jason.
But the thing
Jason?
that game did so awesome was that part when the screen started shaking, like I started freaking out. Like
Yeah.
he was freaked out. I felt like he felt. I hope that there's those parts in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You need that kind of interactivity. You need that kind of emotional connection. I think it helps with the interactive games like that. I know they were talking about Call of Duty 2 or World War 2.
That's going to be Call of Duty. I heard it looks great. It's Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty.
I'm glad they're
It's
going to
Call
World
of
War
I
II.
can't get into that.
You like
it's
it,
just-
John?
Emphasis on duty. No. It's Call
Oh,
of Duty.
I like the story. I've always
The only
liked the
thing
stories
about Call of
in
Duty
games.
that I've ever liked is the zombies.
I love
That's
the
it.
zombies.
That's the only
I can't
thing.
get him to play the zombies. I told him I
Oh,
said,
I have no interest in the series
know a lot of-
itself. I'm just.
but the zombies is not the
I know-
series.
I know.
I
a lot of
understand
people-
that. I understand that, but it's just I can't get into it.
I know a lot of
just
people
have
do the
I have no
orangutan
desire to get into
At
it.
me next time I say it.
Yeah,
You did that.
I'll chimp you.
I hate the multiplayer. It lasts all of 5 minutes, get 0 kills,
God
30
bless.
deaths. and I
People
just
are
give
so
up.
good at that now. Like
It's
as soon as
ridiculous.
They get it and they spend
already
20
pros.
hours the first game and they
From the
went
last
through.
one.
On the first
Then they-
night already. What do you call it? Prestiged.
Yeah.
And they whipped
Prestige in a
my
day.
ass, and I don't want to play no more.
No, I don't
get my
blame
ass
you.
stabbed and I'm
people
like,
who
alright,
spend
done that.
all their lives doing that crap is
Zombies, I got a chance.
I like zombies, dude. Zombies
That's all
is
I got a
fun.
chance for that.
I got to play. I don't know if either one of you got to try the demo for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
I haven't played it yet.
I feel like they've not really reinvented the wheel for it. It looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but if you played one, you played them all.
It's a fighting
so
game.
yeah,
Fighting game.
and nothing about it feels different. I'm still interested to play it because it is something new. It's featuring Marvel, and I love Marvel. So I'm in regardless, but I don't feel like they've done anything unique that makes it stand apart from anything we've done prior. So it's kind of a half and half for me. I do want to play it, but I was kind of hoping for something innovative in another sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
don't get
I
fighting-
haven't played Marvel vs. Capcom before.
I don't either. I don't get fighting games with a story. Doesn't make sense to me.
If you can do a story properly, like Injustice did a great story, that actually
That
built
one was alright.
a foundation on something which
But
worked.
the Mortal Kombat stories, they don't make sense to me. From the
They
very
have
first
gotten
one
convoluted. I will
to
admit.
the last one that came out. The last one, the story on it kind of makes sense because it told an actual story. It made you play each character kind of like the Injustice. Well, they're the same company now, so yeah,
Right.
I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, the other ones, like Tekken. Tekken's a big one. You just got to play through each character till you get to the boss and you beat it and tells their story. Then you play the next game and it's like, oh, well, this is from the last game. It's like, I don't remember that. I didn't beat it with this guy because it was impossible.
Yeah, they do kind of pick and choose who wins the game and say, this will be the guy who we follow. Kind of
Even
next
though you
time.
beat the final boss, this guy won it.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense. I don't know.
the VR titles real quick. We saw like Impatient or the Impatient Moss and Super Hot. Super Hot. I know they said was a PS4 Pro and VR. I just want to play it in VR. I don't want
Yeah,
to play
I
it on
think that's the
PS4.
only way you can play it.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool in VR.
Somebody told me you feel like John Wick because you go through and you
Fantastic.
the more you move, the bullet moves. Something if I'm
Yeah,
if I'm
if you
remembering.
stand still, the bullets move slow. That gives you time to like kind of look around and aim your shots.
You
Then
feel like
move
John
and
Wick.
it's like,
I want that
Yeah,
game.
I'm so psyched for that. I know they said this is actually coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
I
already
don't
on PC.
recall when, but it's very soon.
And that's one of those games where it just lets you know gameplay over graphics will always win.
Absolutely. Moss looked kind of cute, but
I'm
as far as a
sold.
VR game, I
How's
wasn't
it gonna
expecting
work?
that because it was like a 2D
Yeah.
platformer almost.
Right.
But, I'm cool with it. I'll check it out.
To me, somebody like Media Molecule needs to get a game like that, kind of like Tearaway, and use it on the VR because they are so innovative with the way you use tech.
Yeah.
Because I loved it on the Tearaway on the Vita. They used every inch of the Vita to make that game awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what they would do with the VR.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It would be fantastic. I'd love to see what they could do. Tearaway VR, get on it.
Yeah, for real.
Don't forget about Bethesda and their VR release.
Yeah.
Skyrim VR.
Skyrim and Fallout.
Even Fallout VR. I was a little disappointed to hear that's not an addition, but you'd have to buy a new game.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Really?
I wonder if Skyrim's the same way.
Probably.
And
Same company.
I don't really know if
so,
I
want
love
it.
Fallout 4,
Raking in
don't
that
get
cash.
me wrong.
Right.
That was my first introduction to that world, but I don't know if I'd pay full price
wouldn't.
for it again.
I paid for Skyrim and I loved that game. I put probably 90 hours in that game and I couldn't put 5 in it the last time I got it. I don't know why. I just did not. I didn't have that sense of wonder like the first
Right.
time. So
And see, I've wanted to actually get my hands on Skyrim for PlayStation 4 because I've never played it. So I feel like I could probably benefit where you haven't.
yeah, dude, just do the VR.
Yeah.
Just get the VR. I could not imagine looking around and all you see is,
It'd be amazing.
It'd be insane.
Skyrim.
I don't know if I'd buy it, but it'd be insane.
Now there were a few little indie titles that I saw pop up on Sony's site. Undertale, we saw that show up on their pre-show. I've always heard a lot about Undertale. I'm interested to play it. I would like to check it out when it appears on PlayStation. There were 2 others that I read about, and they seemed interesting to me just from art style. That's one of the things about indie games that really attach me is the art style, the art direction that they go in. It sells me for an indie game, and it's Burly Men at Sea. I couldn't really.
I seen a picture of that, and it was these big men with
Yeah.
big beards, and I was like,
Big
I
beards
want
and
it.
big
I want it just because of that.
I'm getting tongue tied. Big bellies.
Yes.
but it just seemed interesting. I was like, sure, I'm in. And then Unto the End, which
I didn't see
looked,
that.
it was, check it out, man. There was the trailer that I saw was very epic. It had kind of a very unique art style that was. It reminded me of 16-bit games,
Right.
But I really couldn't. Out of this world, kind of style, but a little bit more advanced than that. Yeah. But it was that movement where it was very meticulous in a manner of speaking.
I
And
love
then the
how you're
final
moving
shot,
right now with it.
Yeah. So maybe you'll agree. I'm kind of hoping I'm right on that, but yeah, it seemed interesting to me just from what I saw in the trailer. So I'm sold on that. Let's move on to Nintendo real quick.
Wait. What grade? I want a grade.
Oh no. I would give them a B, simply because I do not feel like they did a great job like they did last year.
Now there was no surprise. There was not that many surprises. I
There
think
was-
this
yeah.
was the time that show was going to eventually happen.
There were a few surprises here and there. It was like, oh, okay.
There was
But
no oh my god moment.
outside of Shadow of the Colossus, I did not feel like I was just like taken out of my seat, like, oh my god, I gotta have this. Because if you had not told me about Monster Hunter, if that rumor had not got out, that would have been my second one. I'd
I
probably
wish I
been up
never
at
would have
8.
told you, dude. You
Yeah.
should have seen him when
Because
Shadow of the
I
Colossus
would have
fall.
lit up because I'm like, oh my god, that's because the moment I saw the sword, I was like, well, that's Monster Hunter. I know that right now. I've seen that 100 times, just like I did Shadow of the
He would
Colossus.
have pissed.
But I didn't know. I was kind of prepared, so when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's Monster Hunter. So I was there. So that was cool. But last year they did so much better. I
It
feel
was
like
epic last year, dude.
so
That-
the excitement was not as high, but it was good. It's just it was a little underwhelming.
So you're going with a B.
I'll go with a B.
What about you, Johnny?
Remember the old games? It's like D, C, B, A. Then you got the S when you did really good. I give them an S.
Oh, you're going
Let's
down,
go with
right?
S.
I'm a Sony guy, man.
Yes,
I just-
I am too, but they did better than Microsoft. So I'm gonna go A minus. A minus. They didn't do.
I'm gonna
There
have
was
to guess,
way
I'm sorry.
more. There was a room for improvement.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying though we're fixed talking about Nintendo. A lot of people are saying they won E3. I mean,
Well, let's get into that. I mean, Nintendo, they did Their big game that they were touting a lot was Super Mario Odyssey. This is the game that they've been needing for a while. Ever since Mario Galaxy or even Mario Galaxy 2, there's been that lack of a true Mario successor.
Right.
The new Super Mario Brothers games, they just got repetitive for me.
Right.
Because it's like, I played this game. I don't give a damn how many levels you lay out to it. It's the same game. I played this again and again and again. You've got to stop. Let's give me something new. Super Mario Odyssey seems like it would be that game. I would like to play it. This is almost a game that would get me to buy the Switch, but I'm still not there yet.
The word I hear is it moves like Mario Sunshine. Is that good?
I wouldn't consider that a bad thing. No.
They also said the controls are a lot like Mario 64.
Now that would kind of get a little clunky. Now
Well,
they
I'm
weren't
just
bad
saying the
controllers.
style, the layout, maybe.
Yeah, no, they weren't bad controls by any means.
Right.
But
The camera sucked.
yeah,
Well, they probably improved upon that.
you'd hope. I mean, we've seen bad camera angles in a lot of games here lately, and that's terrible. We should be beyond bad camera angles
Right.
at this point. But even if they're saying that the controls are very much like, Sunshine, that's fine. I mean, I really don't feel like that was a bad game by any means. I enjoyed it.
I never played it. No. I know you did. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It felt like, okay, this is the next Mario game. Perfect, fine.
Cool.
Mario games are good. If they're, I've never seen, again, with the exception of new Super Mario Brothers, I don't think I've played one in the 3D atmosphere that just felt like a downgrade in any way, shape, or form. It felt like it was a natural progression. We're on to the next game. Okay, I'm fine. Good. It's fun. I'm playing it. We're good. And I move along. So I think it'll be fine.
Great.
Just a lot of the new little elements they've added to it, whether it be the hack combat system and where you can possess characters, seems interesting. But again, it's not enough to make me just say, I got to go out and buy a Switch.
Right.
I'm still on the fence with the Switch, but that's a whole nother argument. But they did announce 2 Pokemon games, a Pokemon fighting game, which I was kind of expecting to be like... I'll give you that because I expected it to be like Pokemon Tournament.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that from way
They
back
said
when.
this is
on
a true Pokemon game, though. It's not like a
Well,
Moon
no.
and Stars.
Well, the one I'm talking about right now is a fighting game. It's a genuine fighting game. Like they took Street Fighter and blended it with Pokemon. It was
Smash
just
Brothers.
Weird.
yeah. It was just like no, this isn't right.
You
This
loved
isn't
it.
what you're
You
supposed
loved
to do.
it because you played Pokemon Go.
No.
Don't know me.
I played Pokemon
Now,
Go.
the
What you trying to play?
Pokemon Switch game that they mentioned, the RPG, like they have on the DS and the Game Boys, that I would be interested in checking out. Because now you're taking this concept that you have on these handhelds and you're moving it to a bigger console, making it much larger. If they take a simple port game like that and just say, here you go, there's Pokemon that you can get on the 3DS on the Switch, that's BS. I don't want to see that. I want to see a larger-than-life Pokemon game that we've never, ever seen before, and I will be kind of sold on that. Because it is a fun concept. But you have to give me this overarching world of Pokemon.
Like a true 3D.
Yes. And I don't mean just, it's got to
Not
be
3DS
massive.
3D,
Y'all are
but
talking
3D
gibberish.
3D.
You have the opportunity to do something massive. It's got to be massive. So that's what they ought to do. Speaking of massive, Skyrim's coming to the Nintendo
That's big for them.
Switch.
Yeah, they were advertising
mean,
that from the get-go.
It was released in 2011.
That's the downside, man. We're talking about an old game.
That is the downside, but you can take it with you.
You can take it
That
with
is
you.
the big thing.
I know
How
that there
big
was
is the battery on that thing?
That'll probably run for 3 hours.
Oh, well, that's
I've heard varying stories, so
Yeah.
I really don't know. I couldn't tell you.
That's what I'm wondering. If you're gonna get Skyrim and you're like gonna do a handheld, it's gonna have to have one hell of a battery on it.
I wonder how hot that thing gets.
no kidding.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's
It's
gotta be
gotta get
toasty.
But-
Popcorn on it.
A lot. I mean, I know that they were like, Skyrim, and then you can play as, Link and, with the costume. And that didn't sell me because I was like, that just looked so out of place. Everything from the neck down looked fine. But once you got
Their
to his
faces
head,
are ugly.
it was terrible. It was
That's
atrocious.
just Skyrim.
So you've got to work on that because that looked terrible.
That's just Skyrim, dude. There is no pretty person in Skyrim.
And that's fine, but I mean, when you got something as gorgeous as the Zelda shield and sword and all that, and then you bring in some ugly mug, it just doesn't work.
He got hit with a sword.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that was another huge. I don't know if
love
you
that game,
ever
don't you?
played Xenoblade Chronicles. When I played that on the Wii, that was a hard game to come by. I think I actually played it on. I rented it through GameFly, which is where I first got it, but to actually buy it, And I think you were with me when I did that.
Yeah.
It was at GameStop. That's the only place you could get it. It was
remember-
a
yeah, I do
GameStop
remember
exclusive. And that's where I had to buy it because I was like, I want to play this game. I want to finish it. I'm going to buy it. And it's a fantastic game. Took me over 100 hours. Probably the only game I've actually played from start to finish like that, because I know I've played games several times that probably went to the 100-hour mark.
Right.
But this was one from start to finish. It took me well over 100 hours to finish. It caught me in because of the massive world it set out for you. But this one, it still gives you that sense of wonder, that sense of scope. But I don't feel like it's not reeling me in like the other one did. And I'm not really sure why that is. I feel like because they're calling it a sequel, but I don't feel like I recognize any of the characters or any of the ideas, concepts behind it. It doesn't feel like a sequel to me, so I'm a little disconnected from it.
Right.
So I don't know. It would be one of those games that would sell me if I felt like it was a true sequel. But right now, being like a disconnected sequel, I can't be excited for it. It looks gorgeous, but that's about all I can really say on it.
Right. So being that you like that game so much, to you was the fact that they announced Metroid. Was it Metroid 4 Prime?
Prime 4, yeah.
Was that bigger news or that the Xenoblade?
That was big, because I think we had discussed that at some point, whether it's off air or on air, that they needed to bring Prime back. That was a great franchise for Metroid. Yeah. We have not seen a Metroid game since 2010,
I was 5.
Which is insane if you really think about it. But the fact that they went back to Prime, they didn't try to recreate Other M or make a sequel to that. They just said, "Oh, Prime worked. We'll go back to that."
Yeah.
That was fine. Because I felt like that was a good franchise for that. I'm perfectly fine with Metroid Prime 4, but they didn't show anything. It was just like, hey, we're doing this, and they just showed a title.
Now, how far away is that game?
I don't know. They have not said. It was just, hey, we're doing it, and there you go. But they did announce Metroid Samus Returns. I don't know if you saw that.
On 3DS?
No, that's for 3DS. That's a remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, which is on Game Boy.
Right, the original Game Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess I would be a little excited
if it was
about
on
that.
the Game Boy, that game, that is not just a reboot or a redo. That is a whole new game, really.
Yeah. And so, for me, yeah, I'd love to play it again, because that was actually, I played it on the Game Boy, but I don't think I played it actually on the Game Boy itself, but it was more like the Virtual Console.
Right.
And for what it was fun. It was a little dated, obviously, by the time I got to play it, but it was fun. So I would love to see what they do with it now.
Right.
With the updated 3D graphics and all that stuff. So I'm intrigued, but I don't know if I'm so intrigued that I would go out and buy it. But I'm interested enough.
You'll buy it.
There are games that I know I'd love to play. I know there's I'm a big fan of the Ace Attorney series. There's a new Phoenix Wright game out that I have not purchased because I don't play my 3DS enough, and that's what's holding me back there.
It's because I brought you to the light with the Vita.
But I don't even play with my Vita that often either. I got a Vita game. We're not knocking Vita. We'll get onto that some other time.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that. I even bought a Vita game not that long ago, and I want to play it. I really do. But I just don't ever go to it.
Right. No, it's there's so many good games on the console.
Yeah. I've got a backlog that's ridiculous. So.
I do too. It's crazy.
What about that crazy Mario Rabbids game that came?
Oh, Jesus.
Ubisoft came up with? I mean,
whose idea was that?
I don't know. Somebody was smoking something and said, "Hey, we got Mario, we got Rabbids, just put them together and
hey man, let's put Rabbids in a Mario game or vice versa."
Wow.
Good idea. Like the whole boardroom went nuts.
And hey, it worked for that moment, I guess. So if it was fine with them, then fine. I don't know. I guess it'll work. It'll work for those fans who like Splatoon, which Splatoon 2 is coming out, which I never played, but I hear it's popular.
Yeah.
So I don't know the market anymore, not for Nintendo.
No, I don't either. I
Nintendo's
don't pay any attention to them.
I know that they mentioned Fire Emblem Warriors, which seems to be another crossover with Dynasty Warriors, like they did with Zelda.
Right.
I guess I don't know. I've never played those games, so I can't really speak on it. I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if you're familiar with the Dynasty Warriors series or anything.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I remember some of that. Yeah, and they did they crossed it with Zelda.
Yeah, and it was Hyrule Warriors, and now they're doing
that was
Fire Emblem
ago,
Warriors.
right?
Huh?
What, a couple years ago?
Yeah, a few.
3, 4.
Yeah, but I mean, for what it is, I mean, I've never played the games. They look fun, but I know that they did Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U. I never got into it because it was just never one of those that it might have been fun. It really may have been, but I couldn't get into it.
It's on the Wii U.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to pay the money for it.
No.
So, and we I know we mentioned Rocket League. You know, I
that's
don't
big,
really
dude.
feel like we'll go over that
No.
again, but you know, it's
That's
great
big
that
for
they're
them.
They're doing the cross-platform.
That's big.
And that's pretty cool that they're adding Nintendo elements because
Yes.
obviously I feel like Nintendo has a better brand because you can just slap a Mario hat on characters and say,
Yeah,
there you go.
definitely. That's awesome
So
that they can do that.
when you're doing the cross-play with other consoles and stuff like that, you can be like, oh, they're playing on Nintendo because I got a little Mario hat, and
yeah.
maybe they'll do something with Master Chief on Xbox
got a
or something
Master
like that.
Chief helmet on.
And then you'll see that.
I think Sony's was the Sweet Tooth car.
But
Yeah,
that's
they
if,
did have that.
Yeah,
yes.
that
that's
was
if they ever
exclusive.
get there. So
They'll get there eventually.
there's
There's more to that. There's
Yeah,
more
well
to that.
Done. I thought
Whatever-
they were doing it. I thought it was already did.
No, they backed it. No, see, that's the thing. That's a whole nother story. That's
Okay.
next.
Yeah,
Alright.
we'll get into
Next
that
time.
some other time.
Next time.
Sony, if you're listening right now, you need to kind of get on the ball with the cross play because everybody loves it. And then they did the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC, which I guess it would be a first in a sense of actually seeing Nintendo do DLC, but Smash Brothers was the very first time they really did it.
Did they do it right?
They did not do it right. I feel like they ripped you off.
Oh, damn.
Because
Right.
if you really narrow down what you were spending, because you had Super Smash Brothers, whatever the last one was, I can't even remember what they.
You can just say
labeled.
that.
We'll just call it Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS and the Wii U. I think it was just Wii U and 3DS.
Yeah.
So they had the two games. You had to buy them separately. So you have this version and that version.
They
And
screwed that up.
And then, if you wanted the characters and costumes, you had to buy both as well. They'd put it in a pack together, but you had to buy
Everything.
everything. So it was like 3 separate packs for about $40 a pop. I'm not kidding. So if you think about what you spent, $60 here, $40 there, that's $100 for 2 games, and then an extra $40 for 3 packs, that's another $120 for DLC. Screw that.
Right. No.
There was a point where it was like, I'm not spending that. I absolutely am not.
not.
So
I wouldn't.
This seemed to be more one of those $20, you got a season pass, you're done, DLCs.
Right.
That's common in the industry now, so I guess
That's
if
the
you're
only
into
way
that.
you can do it. Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
People can't afford $20 per deal.
And I know they do what Ultimate Editions now, it's $100 for a game.
Yeah,
It does seem extreme.
But most of that stuff you buy is not out yet. You're paying for stuff to come out later.
Yeah. So when it comes down to that, I have to consider, do I want it?
Right.
Like I was looking at Injustice, the Ultimate Edition for that, $100. And I thought to myself, do I really want that?
No.
No.
I have not decided on that because I didn't buy it. Because I thought, I kind of do, but I don't know what all they're coming out with.
Right.
So it could be something as similar as 3 characters and that's it. Or
I hate
could
when
be
they break it into
characters-
seasons.
skins.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There could be so many different things that they come out with.
Killer Instinct did that.
Hate that.
No, screw that. So I'm not really sure, but while we're on the Wii U real quick, there were little concerns I had a little bit about it. And I know we probably voiced some concerns. I don't know if y'all heard about the cell phone voice chat nonsense that they were trying to pull.
What is it?
So where we have actual, voice chat
Like
with
where we talk
within
over a
headsets,
headset, right?
Oh.
with Xbox or with PlayStation, they want you to hook up a phone to an adapter and then hook it to your Wii U or to your Switch.
You got to buy all those cords.
Yeah, so more peripherals and stuff like that, so you can talk to people voice chat while you're playing with your phone. They contest that this will make for a better sound option. It'll be better in the long run, but think about what you're doing. You're buying extra peripherals to plug
yeah.
into crap.
That's how they make their money.
Bluetooth. Everybody does Bluetooth. My freaking cell phone has a Bluetooth and it's smaller than a Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, absolutely right. The fact, that's how they make their money. Nintendo is notorious for peripherals. You
Right.
take a look back at any console they've come up with, and there's always
Power Glove.
Power Glove,
Terrible.
Terrible.
the Super Scope.
I love that game. That game it came with it though. But then there was no other game for it.
No, absolutely. But the Virtual Boy, I know that was a whole nother console itself. The unreleased Nintendo 64 DD disk drive nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, just a bunch of nonsense. And don't even get me started about the Wii U. How many people banked on that, peripheral BS?
I didn't get the Wii U at all. It's like a Wii with a.
But no,
console.
they knew. I mean, there were companies out there that knew. It's like, well, hell, we can make baseball bats and
Right.
tennis rackets, and we just plug the the Wii U controller in there, and people think they're playing. Why do I need that crap? I don't need it, but
Right.
people will pay it. So
People bought it. That's why
that's,
they did it.
that's what they did. But they've got that problem adding peripherals. They've got their lack of virtual console that they claim. They never said virtual console, which
they
is
did.
nonsense because they did.
They've said it more than once.
They don't do that. There's no cloud saves on anything. So if you lose all your stuff on your Switch, you're boned.
Well, even if you have your Switch, it's not gonna. If you buy 2 Switches, that other Switch is just a separate console. It's not gonna go over to none of the saves go over. That's stupid.
It's stupid because it's portable.
Now,
That's even worse.
I can actually attest to this because I had a 3DS. You remember we were at an E3 show when this happened. I had a 3DS that I took with me to get the whole the Me Pass or whatever the crap. I haven't even played it so long. I don't even remember what it's called. But we had that the Me Pass or the Me Street. I don't forget it. Anyway, point being is I had it there. I lost it in the theater. I could not find it. I had to go buy a new 3DS.
We checked the next year. And
Yeah,
it still wasn't there.
I was so distraught because I was a limited edition Zelda one, gold icons. It drove me up the wall. So
Somebody's
shit
playing
your
that
pants
right
in.
now.
yeah, I
right
was just
now.
like, man, yeah, somebody is out there playing it right now. I hate that person, little thief.
What if it's a little kid?
I'm sure it's a
He's
little
probably
kid,
not.
But his mom, I hate his mom
but
and
you know
dad.
what? Adults are the worst. Adults are the worst. There's selfish little sons of bitches out there who probably an adult. They're about 20 years old, or at least they were then. They're a selfish little asshole. I'm getting off
And
on a
they
rant.
stole it.
Point being is I had to buy a new one. My games were still present, but my game was gone. I had to replay everything if I wanted to get back to where I was. And I was like, I don't want to replay all this. I don't.
At least
It's
do
ridiculous.
At least do like a SD card.
Yeah,
Something.
Yeah.
It's silly, dude.
So-
It's silly.
The fact that you have to do all that, plus the possibility of having to repurchase your games for the Switch that you've bought, whether it be on the Wii, the Wii U, because we all saw the Wii U where you had to pay $1 if you wanted it in HD, and for saves on the go. Screw that. The Switch. All right, I'm already taking it on the go. I've already got it. I paid the damn money for it. You're not paying me an extra $1 or getting another $1 out of me for this damn game that's already set for this. So just get it over with and move along. Because
Right.
I know they have a list. I've seen it on their website.
They wrote it and put it on their refrigerator.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. Reggie.
All right, so I'm ranting about Nintendo. They need to up their game a little bit. They need to work on that. because-
Every
Need quit being
group's got
greedy,
glaring,
is what they
glaring
need to do.
holes.
Yes.
Well, that's their problem.
I'll even say right now, I loved Nintendo for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the Wii U came along and disappointed me that I gave up. I gave up on Nintendo.
When
And
did the
I
Wii
gave
come
them
along?
so many chances.
Yeah.
I gave up on the Wii, man.
Me too.
It
And
came out,
I stuck around with the Wii. I did.
You did.
And
I
there were
tried
there
to
were
talk him out of that.
You're a
there were a
trooper.
lot of games. I'll give them that. There were some games there that you couldn't get anywhere else that were great.
Yeah.
No More Heroes, my favorite franchise of all time. I think you can only get the first one on PlayStation 3.
Right.
But it was a fantastic franchise. I love it. That would be a game to suck me back in. Maybe.
No.
But it would have, if they said it's not exclusive to Nintendo,
No need.
okay. No, I'm not going back. All right. So, despite all the basics, we had a few cross-platform games. They finally showed Kingdom Hearts 3, which is a surprise because we didn't expect that because we mentioned the.
Well, they showed that a week before, didn't they?
Yeah, so it wasn't really an E3 presentation, and they did say at the end of the trailer that it was going to be a new trailer at D23, which is Disney's
I think that's what they were
Expo.
doing.
So they'll probably get a little bit more. Metro Exodus came out. They were
Beautiful.
showing a little bit of that.
But it won't look like that on any
Oh, no,
console.
no,
That was
no.
a
And I
PC on Ultra
know there was a
settings.
concern because they showed that during the Xbox presentation, but it's not an Xbox only exclusive. So I had to quell some fires.
Yeah, I had to look that up too.
Yeah.
I was making sure.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z looks pretty interesting. I like the art style they went with it, where it was like anime during those cutscenes, kind of like where they were doing special moves. That was pretty cool.
Right.
I'll give them that. Now I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, so it's not really selling me, but the art style itself, it looked pretty good. So if you're a
it
fan of
did.
that stuff, you're gonna probably go nuts.
And the I guess from E3 the talk was they nailed that game.
Yeah, it
that's
looks
good.
like it. I'll give them
That's
that.
good.
From what I saw, it looked pretty good. Sonic Forces.
No, don't care.
It's a
Sonic
Sonic
is-
game, man. And they were even referencing, I watched like a video, it was like a demo video. They're like, yeah, we took some stuff from Sonic Colors and Sonic, 3D, and it's like, those
gonna be
games
crap.
sucked.
Yeah, I'd be like, just
gonna be
stop right
crap.
there.
It's like, so what did you do? Did you pluck the only one good thing out of it and implement it here? But I will say one element that I saw that was kind of neat, was that they did like a 3D to 2D thing. So 1 minute you look like you're playing Sonic Adventure, it was all 3D landscapes, and then it kind of curves back around, and then you're in a 2D landscape like old Sonic.
Right.
It's kind of neat,
Yeah, that's cool.
but Sonic games have a reputation
Yes.
of
Hey,
being
man,
terrible.
it's still Sonic.
I cannot recall the last time anyone said, "Man, that Sonic game was good."
You're right.
It's just like,
Since-
yeah,
since Sega.
Sonic game.
If they put a trailer out at E3, it's got to be decent. For
No,
Sonic
they
game.
put them.
Oh,
They
have
put one out
Yeah.
every year.
Do they?
So it's
Sonic
like,
Racing came
I guess
out.
I
then.
just give
Until I hear a review, otherwise, I'm just going to be like, okay, it's a
I gotta
Sonic
watch
game.
it first.
Yeah,
gotta watch it.
It looks good, like
Really,
they all
John?
do.
Really, John?
What?
Really?
What?
Days Gone gets a pass, but
I didn't say you gotta pass this, and I'm skeptical up in there about it. You're still
Whatever,
crying
man.
about that. Shut up.
All right, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Assassin's Creed.
I feel like they've had a year off. They should have fixed the eyes on that guy.
I do like the implementation of the eagle, where it's not eagle vision anymore. It's an actual eagle. So that's kind of
They
neat.
kind of got that from Far Cry
Primal?
Primal.
Yeah.
I thought that was
so
cool.
interesting little adaptations to the formula. So I'm kind of hoping we have an Assassin's Creed game, but we change it up a little bit. Some of the combat seemed a little different. I even like the arrow that looked like you could control. I don't know if that's true or not, but it looked cool in the trailer.
Yeah.
Life is Strange Before the Storm. I'm intrigued by the story, but the fact that you don't have powers, which I understand you wouldn't have powers.
It's what, a prequel, right?
I understand that you wouldn't have the powers before that, but what's the point? Now, are we playing like a Telltale style game?
I
at that
have no
point?
clue. I
Because
guess this
what-
is leading into Life is Strange 2, which Don't Nod is working on, and Don't Nod didn't do these 3 episodes.
Now, you did say this was kind of a mini series, so it's
Right.
just like, so if we're just exploring a part of the story, I'll give them a pass. As long as we're not breaking my bank over a little quick
I
flash.
still
into the
think it'll
past.
be good. $14, I'll play.
Yeah,
I'll play it.
yeah.
Oh,
so,
that's yeah.
yeah, I'd give it a look. Shadow of War, a lot of hype around that.
Bless, that game looked beautiful.
I love
dude.
Shadow of Mordor. It was a fantastic game. I didn't
I'm
get
playing it
into
right
it on
now.
ground floor, but yeah, it was fantastic once I finally did, man.
Is
Yeah, that was one of them ones where I had to go back in.
Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and got a lot of flack for saying, well, it's ripping off Arkham. Dude, it's going to happen. You've got a fantastic combat system like they have in the Arkham games.
People need to get off that.
Yeah,
They're ripping off.
because
People
it's
do
going to
that.
happen. I mean,
People rip off everybody.
yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah, all
Okay,
games rip
so,
off.
Double Dragon, it ripped off, or I guess Double Dragon ripped off River City Ransom or vice versa.
Everybody
It's,
rips
it's
off
all
everybody.
the same. Who cares? As
It's
long as
fun.
it's fun.
Take my money.
the
Yes,
same
take
developer.
all my money.
To be honest with you.
Agents of Mayhem was another game I was excited
You're
for.
excited, yeah. You said that
Because
today.
I got into Saints Row Part 3. It was one of those games I saw and it was free, I think, on PlayStation Plus, and I thought, okay, it's free. I'll download it because I didn't have a lot of games to play at the time. It took me forever to actually get to it. When I finally did, I was like, why have I not played this by now? Because I loved it so much. I was like, this is fantastic. And I went right out and got Part 4 when it came out. It was
I
like, give
remember
me, I'll take it. And then I even rebought it on PS4 and then got the DLC for that. But this is supposed to be like a continuation of the last DLC that came out on PlayStation 4, which is Gat Out of Hell, but it's not a sequel by any means. It's more like here's an alternate universe of what could have or could take place in this universe.
Right.
So-
it's like you
when
said,
I
it was a reset on the whole timeline.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, "This is Saints Row." So
Yeah,
it's like
they-
another Saints Row. Then it's like played the whole trailer, or whatever trailer I watched. I guess the very first one. It didn't even show Gat, and it was just like all the different teams. And then it said the title, which was I can't remember the title right now.
Agents of Mayhem.
Yes. And so the title was
just
like,
said
"Oh,
it.
well, all right, well, okay."
You
that's
don't
cool.
listen, John.
Yeah,
Headphones on, shut up.
They even said that producing Johnny Gat, not showing him from the beginning, that was kind of they knew they were going to have him in the game,
Right.
But they said they didn't want to show him all at the beginning because they wanted it to be a surprise. So
Which is cool.
kind of
Yeah,
build
that
on
is
it and
cool.
say,
That's
hey,
cool.
you kind of feel this vibe because I did kind of feel a Saints Row vibe. I was like, I'm not sure. I wasn't quite sure what it was. And then when they said, well, here's Johnny Gat, I was like, well, shit, there you go.
Yeah, as soon
I
as
got it
Sold.
down. Yeah.
As soon as I first saw it, I was like, this is Saints Row, another one. And it's like, no, this ain't it. This is a different game.
So that was kind of interesting. Beyond Good and Evil, they did a trailer for that,
That
which
game
was
won't come out.
cinematic.
It's been coming out for 10
10
years.
years.
Or
And
something
now
like
it's
that.
It'll come out at some point.
And now it's trying to be backed by Kickstarter. I just don't feel like this game's
It's
gonna
being
win.
back.
That's what
Are you
I
kidding?
think. I think I've seen that.
Then, yeah.
If it
I mean, I
gets
could be
enough,
wrong.
If Ubisoft cannot back it up, then
Here's what they need to do. They need to get on the YouTubers, and they need to get them to push it, because that's about the only way Kickstarters work.
Yeah,
is
it needs to come out. It should have been out years ago. I don't know why they've taken this long, because I'm sure money had a lot to play into that, because it wasn't a commercial success. It was a critical success.
Right, and that's the one thing I like about Sony sometimes is critical success is okay.
Gravity Rush.
Right.
That's a prime example. I don't recall anybody ever really talking about that too much, and yet it got a sequel.
Yeah.
And I was happy because I loved Gravity Rush.
Right.
Battlefront 2 is coming out.
Cannot wait.
Looks
Dude.
fantastic,
Yeah.
but
So
it will render Battlefront obsolete in a
Yes.
heartbeat.
Yes,
It'll
it
be
will.
done.
It's
That's
like
fine
it's
with
like
me.
the very first time they did it. Battlefront was okay. The second one came out so much better.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is like
It
repeating
looks
footsteps right here.
so good. The multiplayer looks so good.
I'm really excited to see what they do with the story, because they're doing something completely original, and that would be interesting to see how they proceed with that.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see that. Destiny 2, I never played Destiny, so I really can't.
John, stop.
I'm out. Not doing
John,
it.
please. We played that game for at least 20 hours.
It was fun until the first DLC came out, and then I was over
That's
it.
fine. Yeah, well, I didn't play this. I was done after then, too.
Well,
see,
see,
that
we
game
stopped
was
playing.
great. It should have been, it was...
I don't know. I'm weird like
I
that.
think
When I get
Destiny
a
2,
game,
they know they're going to learn from where they messed up. They're going
I'm
to
different
learn.
like that though. When I get a game and I love it at first, and you do something to completely screw it over, I hate it. I'm
the
done
same
with
way.
you.
Well, what they need to make sure they do is they hire an actor they're going to stick with and not replace halfway through the game.
I thought Peter Dinklage was fine.
I know, but apparently they didn't.
A robot
Which is
has no
nonsense.
emotions.
Hey, maybe he's like, man, I ain't feeling this.
Hey,
guys."
Guardian.
And that's ridiculous too. They're sitting there saying he has no emotion. That's what he's supposed to be, is a
He's not a
robot with no
robot.
emotion.
Jesus.
But no, we got to replace him with Nolan North because he's the only actor we can get. No, I love you, Nolan.
I do too. I hope he hears this.
Yeah. The Evil Within 2, I never
I'm
could
fine
get
with-
into it. You
I
let me
couldn't
borrow
either.
it. I never could get
I
into
couldn't.
it.
I a little, like I said last
It's a
time.
strange game.
5 levels in, it lost me. It was really crazy, but I will probably get this game and play it again.
Skull and Bones. Oh, we touched on that a little while ago. That,
Yeah, is
another
that-
pirate game.
Yeah, I didn't see this one.
I didn't really do a lot of research in it, but I knew it was another pirate game that came out. So that was probably the one John was
remember when I was
referring to.
talking
He may
about.
have seen that.
It might be more of the deathmatch.
And it does kind of lend itself to that because it seemed a lot grittier and rougher around the edges. So that's probably what he saw.
Well, I'll look that up. I'm gonna Google it.
And I know we talked about Fallout VR, Wolfenstein 2. Does anybody?
I've got Wolfenstein, the first one.
Was it pretty
So
solid? I
bad.
never got to play
So
it.
bad.
It felt
is it?
solid. Felt
was
really
cool.
good.
So
I'm just
cool.
I didn't finish it. I think at the same time I got it kind of late, and when I started playing it, a lot of other good games came out, and it's just like
Yeah, it
any other
did come
game
out in a
that-
bad time.
Yeah, well, I got it at a bad time. It came out way before I got it. I got it for $10, so I mean, I've still got it.
Now, are they the same company that's doing Doom?
I believe so. I think
Because I know Doom. They were talking
Same.
about Doom VR, which seemed pretty
right. I
cool.
seen that.
That'll be
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that would be pretty
That'd be
crazy.
crazy.
Doom was good. I played it too.
Yeah, no, that's another one I hadn't played, but I'm already sold on Doom. You've sold me at the name. I just got to get there.
Yeah, it's great.
South Park, Fractured But Whole.
Take my money right
Yeah,
now.
I'm waiting for that.
I watched you play.
I hope
it.
it's not.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like the first one where it's got a lot of jokes that pertain to the show because I haven't watched the show in a
Just
long
be
time.
quiet, John. You're
But it's funny.
You're embarrassing me,
And
John.
they did say that the delay, because it was supposed
No,
to be
it
out
was-
recently, they said the delay was because they were trying to make sure that it was good for the fans who liked it. So I'm fine with it.
Right.
Yeah,
Me
the
too.
first one was fun. Don't get me wrong, it was fun.
Yeah.
You could even pre-order it right now and get the original if you didn't play it.
Ooh, you can?
So, yeah.
Good, because I just
So-
watched you play it when I seen Al Gore and all that stuff with him. I wanted it.
So it was good. I mean, it's South Park, man. And the fact that the guys are involved, I'm in. I'm all for it. The last one I got listed down was the Call of Cthulhu. I didn't pay much attention to it at first. It was kind of brought to our attention on our Facebook page. I started looking into it. They said this is how they broke it down. I wrote it down. A walking sim RPG with Ace Attorney style detective sections and a sanity driven survival horror game. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And I'm in
I'm in.
from that point.
Definitely.
Okay, walking simulators I have a problem with. Sometimes they get a little,
They can be boring.
yeah,
but
depending on what you're playing.
sometimes the payoff is worth it.
But a walking simulator RPG, and apparently you level up by what you find.
Right.
Ace Attorney, I'm already a fan. Detective work for that, okay, fine. I touch and click and find stuff. But the sanity-driven survival horror that goes back to Eternal Darkness, where you are driven insane by the things that are around you. Did either of you
I
ever
remember
play
you telling me
Eternal
about that.
Darkness?
Like, is that the one where you said like you're playing it at night and all of a sudden your volume started
Yeah,
turning up?
yeah.
And you try to
I
grab
was
your
sitting there
thing, but
playing.
it was in the game.
The very first time I ever played it, I was walking through the section in the volume, and it looked just like the volume,
Yeah, the
on
old
my
school,
television.
yeah.
That would get me,
and it was
dude.
going down. I was like, "What is going on? Stop!"
remember that.
And I just got so mad, and then it just kicked me out. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then there was another time where it said, "Your file is being deleted," and I was like, "Stop! No!" And I was yelling at the game because the game was fucking with me, and I was like, "No." But it was just the game.
That's what I want. I want that game.
And that's what this is supposed to be. They said since this is based on a H.R. Lovecraft, is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovecraft story, the Call of Cthulhu. I'm sure there are a lot of Lovecraftian people out there who are listening that they know exactly what I'm talking about. If you actually come into contact with Lovecraftian items, that will drive your insanity up. So we won't know what they are
Oh my
since we're
God,
not really
dude.
fans, but they will. And they'll be like, nope, I'm going to stay
I
away
can't
from
wait
that.
to play this game.
So I'm intrigued by that alone, just the basic breakdown of it all. So I'm good to go for it. I'm ready for it.
That was it.
That's kind of,
Okay, but wait, we didn't give Nintendo a grade.
oh, we didn't. No.
But okay, now here's the thing. I didn't think about this. They didn't get a lot leaked from their thing. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like it was all that stuff was surprises.
Because nobody cares.
No, they do
I mean-
care. A lot of people, more people than you think, care.
I would say how excited. I mean, obviously we knew certain games are going to be there, Odyssey and Splatoon. And there were a few. I mean, the Metroid games were a definite surprise, but there's so few. There's so few of everything that we talked about, so I can't really give them B-.
Right? I would say a B.
Because it was interesting to see what they had. I love seeing Metroid, but they didn't do anything to really just excite me to a point where I was like, oh man, this is.
I don't
I'm
get
all in.
excited about Nintendo like I used to.
No,
Not
and
like I do for
want
Sony
I
and
want
some
Nintendo
games
to
from
excite me
Microsoft.
again.
Right. Apparently, some people got really excited for this direct. John, did you give it like an R or something like you gave?
R? No,
what'd
I
you
give
give
them a B. Because I'm interested in the Switch. I'm really
I am
considering
interested
getting
in
one.
the Switch too.
They're doing a lot of work with it, and it looks
So-
really fun. It really does. The graphics actually look good. Everything looks really good. Everything seems like it plays good. And I'm really thinking about getting one.
Well, then by those standards and the grades that we gave all the big three, Sony wins.
By default, yeah.
Not by default, they just won.
Yeah, I mean, by our and I'm not trying to be favoritism. A lot of you listeners out there are probably going to think we favor Sony. We are a little biased, but we are fair. We did not say anything negative about.
I said a few things negative, but I give them props when I'm going to say something negative about Sony next show probably.
I mean,
I really
it'll
have
happen.
a
something
bone to
negative
pick
right
with
now.
Sony right now.
Give them something negative right now.
I don't want to.
Get off. They need to get off this not crossplay crap.
Yeah.
That's next week. You stop.
Well,
saying.
we'll talk about that.
That's the what do you call it? The preview.
Preview for next week.
Preview right there.
The state of the gaming industry. Stay tuned for next week. No, but yeah, I think we've pretty much covered as much of E3 as we can. I don't know if there's anything more we can really say about it. If we missed anything, you can hit us up on our Facebook page, Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. It's easy to find, I'm sure. Let us know what we missed. If we missed anything we didn't cover that you wanted us to cover, maybe we can cover next time.
Ask a question. Start a topic.
Start a topic. That would be fantastic. We'll respond to you. We'll be there. We'll actually identify ourselves because, there's three of us. There's Stephen, Todd, and John.
John don't
we'll
count.
Let you know who we are, and we'll respond to you in kind. Check out our Patreon page where we can, get paid to do this stuff. Only if you want to help out.
We can bring better content if we're You need money to bring content.
Yeah, absolutely.
honest.
We'd love to actually go to E3 and do this live. You know, that would be fantastic. It would be good for you guys.
Cat's out of the bag now.
But, you know, no, not for this year anyway. But hey, you know, we do appreciate any of those that have listened. I know a few people that have listened and they've given their feedback, and I do appreciate it, and I love you guys.
Thank you.
But definitely come back next time. We're going to have a more structured narrative next time. We're going to have a guest next time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So I think that'll add a nice little mix into our bag here that we're doing. But
Got a big bag.
a mixed bag. That's what we
Mixed,
are.
big old bag.
Big old mixed bag. But anyway, this has been Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm Stephen White.
And I'm Todd Stark.
I'm John Taylor.
And we have had so much fun talking to you about games. We hope you'll come back next time. And take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.